take me.
Relax.
There's more where that came from, that's all I'm saying.
Broadcasting worldwide. Relax Radio.
Welcome back to Relax Radio. That's right. This is Relax with me, Nick, giving you guys company and entertained all the way until 6 p.m. You know, we're talking about all the things that is going on in the country. And there is a lot of stuff that is actually happening right now. And hey, if you want to be part of the show and you want to tell me what your thoughts are on the things that is happening in the country, well, hit me up on those numbers, 07852-473-473. That's right. Those are the magical numbers. You can always feel free to call me up and let me know what your thoughts are on that particular thing. And also don't forget, you can download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to carry us all day, every day. And getting back to the topic at hand, right now, the Prime Minister has been talking about this, COVID situation in the country and how things are going to end. Yeah, he officially announced it and he said, okay, we will not be allowed, we will not be rather legally required to be wearing any of our face masks. So yeah, they said that these things are actually being scrapped off and there's no more social distancing as well. So that's something for a lot of people to be looking forward to. It sounds like, the telltale signs of getting back to normalcy. So this is what the Prime Minister has been talking about, and he said, okay, he scrapped all of these at the end of England's COVID lockdown roadmap, and he's saying, okay, this is going to be the end. And Boris Johnson has confirmed all of this just a while ago. And and the rule of 6 inside private homes will be removed, and work from home guidance abolished, as 16 months of on-off restrictions on daily life will finally come to an end. So the Prime Minister said he expected the final step would happen as planned on the 19th of July. So this will be confirmed on the 12th of July after review of the latest data, and further updates on school bubbles, travel, and self-isolation will follow in the coming days, is what Mr. Johnson is saying actually. So Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland are in charge of their own coronavirus rules, and the Scottish government has said it may continue to require masks in certain settings even after 9th of August, when it is hoped the final curbs will end. So they're saying, okay, this is what is going to happen. So the Scottish government is also doing all these plans. And looking forward, a lot of people are looking forward to this. And these are, this is actually being expected a lot. And this is something that will definitely be happening. And the government will be looking into this as much as they can. And people are actually, I can see, you can expect the excitement is in the air, definitely in the air. People are looking forward to the releasing of the lockdowns, with the road out of lockdown. The road out of lockdown is happening. So a lot of people are excited for the final steps right now. And the situation with Scotland right now will be ending. They will be ending all of these restrictions in their country as well on the 9th of August at the moment. So right now only England is planning to release everything on this. They'll be planning to release everything on the 19th of July, and all of this will be confirmed on the 12th of July after a review of the latest data. So ahead of the review on the 15th of July in Wales, ministers said people would need to learn to live with COVID. So rules in Northern Ireland have just eased out, and with another review are due on actually the 8th of July. So they will be reviewing this, and they will be definitely looking into this. So speaking at a Downing Street news conference, Mr. Johnson said the ability to end a vast majority of legal restrictions in England was thanks to the success of the vaccine rollout. But he warned cases were predicted to rise to 50,000 a day later this month, and said we must reconcile ourselves, sadly, to more deaths from COVID. And they're saying, okay, although the number, we are getting back to normal, we should be expecting there will be some deaths as well. There will be more deaths related to COVID in the following days. So the end of England's roadmap, that is step 4, was delayed last month to no earlier than 19th of July amid surging virus cases linked to the Delta variant. And Mr. Johnson said, 4 should proceed on that date. The step 4 step should actually proceed on that date, subject to a review of the latest data on the 12th of July. So announcing what the next stage of the pandemic would look like in England, he confirmed. And yes, this is what I'm quoting, what Mr. Johnson went on to say. He did say that it means that an end to limits on the guidance on the attendance at weddings and funerals. So there's not going to be, we initially had a limit of 30 people maximum into these events. Well, there's no more limit anymore with that regard. So we will be abolishing that as well. And looking at that, table service rules at bars and restaurants and venues in check-in requirements will be scrapped. So they're saying, okay, this is something that will not happen anymore. Yeah, with the coming of days, that is going on. Well, we will be scrapping all of these things. So table service rules at bars and venues and restaurants and check-ins requirements will actually be removed. And limits on named care home visitors will be lifted. So right now they have officially, for just in a day, you can have only 5 people. You can actually have officially 5 people coming into your care home, but then also the number is only 2 people at a day, and both, not more than that at a time. So yeah, with that regard, these are things, that they will be definitely considering, and they're saying this will be lifted completely after the 19th of July. So they will be reviewing all these things on the 12th of July with these datas, in check. And looking at that, also council powers to enforce rules will expire, and large scale events will not legally require certification. So a lot of these events will not require, certification when it comes to that regards. So these things will be overlooked as well. And these are things that they will be planning to do. So it means, all of these things. So these large scale events will actually entail a lot of these nightclubs will reopen for the first time since the pandemic began. So while ordering at the bar will return in a boost to the hospitality industry. So they're saying, okay, these are things, that we will be expecting to be leading on with, and we will be pushing this forward as much as we can. So social distancing requirements, including the 1 meter plus rule, have prevented many venues actually from operating at full capacity during the pandemic. And they said, okay, these are things, that they were expecting. They said, okay, this is going to be a problem. A lot of these hospitality industry and a lot of these other industries as well, when it comes to hospitality, when it comes to a lot of these events as well, weddings and forget about the funerals, but mostly the weddings and the other, other events like bars and restaurants are struggling and they are trying to actually cope as much as they can. And it's not as easy as it sounds like. So yeah, they are saying that their number of customers and the profits coming in is not as much. It's pretty meager with that regard. So they are looking into boosting the hospitality industry by ordering at bars as well. So they're allowing us to reopen all these bars as well. This is what Boris Johnson is saying, and he's trying to do, and he's trying to implement this. And nightclubs will also reopen. So there will be a nightlife again. So people who are looking for that entertainment, well, they can get back into these nightclubs. I don't know exactly how this is going to be in place, how they're going to work this out, and will people be required to have vaccinations at least if they're going to attend these events, or they're going to go into nightclubs? I wonder how this whole thing will work. Will they incorporate the whole NHS application into it as well? It begs this begs the question, if are they actually going to implement this? So let's see how it goes. And social distancing requirements, including the 1 meter plus rule, have prevented many venues from operating at full capacity during the pandemic. And this is one of the reasons to blame for this. So face coverings are currently required for those without an exemption on public transport and in shops as part of regulations backed by law. So Mr. Johnson also said the gap between the first and second vaccine jabs for the under 40s will be shortened from 12 weeks to 8 weeks. So initially, if you're going to get a vaccination, well, it would usually be 12 weeks before you can get your second jab. Well, they shortened it down to 8 weeks. So they shortened it down to another 1 week. They shortened it down. So further announcements on schools, travel, and self-isolation are expected this week, and there has been a further 27,334 cases that were reported across UK on Monday, alongside 9 deaths within 28 days of a positive test. So they're saying, okay, the numbers and the cases have been on a rise, and we have seen the toll of the way the number of people have been passing through this, and it is a problem, but they will be definitely looking into this as much as they can. And they also warned, the cases, like I said, were predicted to rise up to 50,000 a day later this month. And they said that sadly this is what the Prime Minister is saying, that we must reconcile ourselves sadly to more deaths from COVID. So these are things, that we will definitely be expecting in the coming of days. The government will definitely be looking into this, and they will, they're saying that we're not all in the clear as of yet. There will be a number of cases. So hopefully we can look into this as, we go along, and we should expect that although although we are getting back to normalcy, we are trying at least to get back to normalcy. There will be some sort of restrictions that will be in place. So people will need to follow these as we go along and as time goes along. Hopefully people will, follow through with these. And with that being said, we're going to be taking a quick break before we reach the final segment of the show. Taking a look at your time right now, though, it is 5:46. Good evening.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Or you didn't do very well, and they get upset, And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young. Well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he might say to me, you had one to forget. That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, damn, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. An inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Now, there's a lot of conversation around who pays more taxes, if it is the rich or if it is the poor, right? But when you are basically going out and during a day, you go to a restaurant, you have to pay taxes there. If you buy a car, you have to pay taxes there. So why is it even a conversation that, the rich pay less taxes or the poor pay more taxes? Why is it a conversation like that?
Because it's true, the rich generally pay less tax. A rich person walks into a Tesco's or a Sainsbury's, they're not going to get a different bill than another person, right? They're still going to pay the same VAT on those goods, they're still going to pay the same thing. So that's all the same. However, the differences come in if you can pay yourself from your own company, you can structure it in a way that you pay less income tax through paying a bit of salary, paying dividends and so forth, and then also deferring income. Also, your pension payments or contributions can be different. So that increases your tax sort of gap, if that, if you want to use it that way. Where a PAYE person just gets paid salary and bonus. And now those are the most highly taxed sources of income in the UK, definitely, in the UK. We've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? Because in a public company where the stock is traded openly on the stock exchange, the value of that stock is driven by supply and demand, it's driven by emotion, it's driven by news, it's driven by quite a lot of variables over and above the actual accounting or total net worth of that company. I mean, we've seen it, right? If an owner of a large public traded company does something wrong, irrelevant of what that company does or how valuable that company is, the stock generally falls into a pool of nothing, right? And the company may still have value, it may still be doing quite a good things.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, and mainly one because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on air, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Come and listen on
Don't be afraid to catch fish.
Relax Radio.
Welcome back to Relax Radio. That's right. This is me, Nick, keeping you guys company all the way until 6 p.m. That's right. We're going to be talking about all the things that is going on right now in the UK. Yeah, that's right. This is the final stretches of the show. And there has been a lot of these talks, a lot of how, these free school meals, will they actually continue over the summer holidays? And with that regards, they've been talking about all these things. And they say the number of children eligible for these free school meals in England has risen since the start of the pandemic. So they're saying, okay, there has been a rise in these cases. There has been a rise of these number of children expecting, during the pandemic, there has been a lot of this rise as well, getting the free school meals. So as the summer holidays are actually coming closer, what support will be available to these children? So the government wants to know, the people actually want to know all these things. So how many children are going to get these free school meals? So more than 1 in 5 children. So that is one in 5 pupils. That is estimated of 1.7 million people in England were eligible in January 2021. So the numbers rose by more than 400,000 in the previous 10 months from the start of the first lockdown. That was back in March 2020. So although the numbers have increased in previous years, the 2020 rise was steeper than before. So children are eligible if their household income is less than £7,400. So that is excluding benefits, or if they receive certain welfare payments. So if you're receiving some sort of welfare payment, well, you will be eligible for all of these things. You will be eligible, your children rather, will be eligible for free school meals. And looking at all these things, also, the proportion of all these children eligible for free school meals in England right now is, it's crazy. And the way the consensus is going, it's extraordinary. Mostly over the top of England. The top of England is where the most dense population, where the more percentage of these people were depending on this free school meals. So what is going to happen during the summer holidays? Well, unlike last summer, the government is not directly funding vouchers or food packages this year. So free food meals have traditionally been provided in midterm time only, but many councils have decided to create their own meal schemes during the long holiday using extra government money made available because of the pandemic. So because of the pandemic, a lot of these parties and bodies and councils had made their own they've made their own meal schemes during this whole long holiday. So they made it according to how the situation is going with the pandemic, and they've been getting a lot of these extra funding from the government. So Labor called on ministers to trust parents by giving them cash payments over the summer, but instead, rather than offer free meals, the government has allocated 220 million pounds for local councils to offer free holiday clubs rather. So they're saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that we try to trust parents by giving them a lot of these cash over the summer. But instead, now what we're going to do is rather than offer these free meals, the government will actually allocate 220 million pounds, that is for local councils, to offer free holiday clubs to these parents. Because we were talking about, it's going to be stressful for a lot of these parents managing the children over this whole pandemic situation, and how they are going to be getting burned out. They will definitely be burned out about that. So these clubs will offer free healthy foods and physical activities. Funding is expected to cover activities for at least 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, for 4 weeks of the holidays. So the scheme, that is the holiday activities and food program, was launched as a pilot before the pandemic. So, but now is being rolled out across England. So councils are expected to offer free food club access to all children eligible for free school meals. So children who do not receive free meals may still be offered places, but not for free. So even if the children who do come and attend these places, they will be offered seats, but they will not be given for free. They will have to make some sort of payment and compensation. So with that regards, there was also talks, last year, how during Easter 2020, during that time, Marcus Rashford also actually did give a lot of donations with that regard. So footballer Marcus Rashford and other campaigners have actually been promoting these holiday clubs. And a Manchester United player has actually previously called for free school food meals support to be extended again this summer. And he did call out this. He did voice his opinion, and he did say, okay, he did mention it out to the government and told them, okay, we need to make sure that we give free school meals, and we need to give a lot of support for these people as well. But since then, he said that the holiday club programs is a massive opportunity for kids as well. So what is the situation in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland? So in Scotland, well, the government has allocated 22 million pounds of funding to allow councils to provide free food meals during school holidays, and it is up to local authorities to decide what the support will be. So in Northern Ireland, the government is offering food grants for eligible children during all school holidays until April 2022, and local authorities in Wales will be able to claim 19.50 pounds per week for each eligible child to make free meal supports available in the holidays. So these are the opportunities that they're looking into, and they are trying to make sure that they get into this as much as possible. So a lot of these people have been receiving a lot of this support as well over the past couple of years. So the first 2020 lockdown, families actually with children on free school meals were offered food packages or vouchers during that term time. So they were given all these opportunities as well. And then in Easter 2020, the campaign, which was actually backed by Marcus Rashford, was actually led a lot of these ministers as well to extend support over the holidays. And summer 2020, additional funding was put in place, so children eligible for free school meals could claim a 6-week voucher. And November 2020, a funding package, that is the COVID winter grant scheme, was introduced to support these families. And January 2021, the original term time voucher scheme returned in lockdown, but with parents expected to rely on winter grant money during the holidays. So, these are just, some of the approaches that they've done. And yeah, a lot of these support has come from the government as well. But this year it's going to be different. What with the lockdown releasing as well and the easing of the lockdown happening, a lot of these parents as well who have been depending on these free school meals, well, they will have to expect it during the winter grant money scheme. So these are just, some of the things, the people who will be eligible. Like I said, if you're earning more than 7,500 pounds, and I'm guessing 400 pounds rather, 7,400 pounds, and should, I guess, be per annum, and this is all excluding the benefits, your child will be actually eligible for free school meals. And also looking at that, which children will get these free school meals. So free school meals during term time have been at least partially funded by the government for more than a century. So children of all ages from nursery to sixth form may be eligible if they live in households receiving income-related benefits, including income support, income-based job seeker allowance, income-related employment and support allowance, and universal credit. So new claims made in England must come from households earning a minimum of 7,400 a year after tax, not including benefits. And all infant side schools, state schools, actually receptions, that is years 1 and 2, can get free school meals. So if your child is getting free school meals on the 31st of March 2022, they keep getting them until they finish their stage of education, for example, primary or secondary. So eligibility varies slightly actually between England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland because the nations set their own rules. So the household income threshold in Wales and Scotland are also 7,400 pounds, and in Northern Ireland it is 14,000 pounds. So these are just, some of the support that they're saying. And they're looking at all these, the thresholds, it varies, but in Northern Ireland right now, it's 14,000 pounds per annum. So looking at all these things, I really don't know what a lot of these parents will be doing, but let's see how it goes. Hopefully they can pull through with this, and they can make sure that, a lot of their people, and they will be able to support these families. Because right now, with the way the thing is going, and the furlough scheme also going to be pushed away by the time September comes rolling in, there will be a lot of these families struggling. So I think in a way it's a good thing that the country is coming out of lockdown and the government is trying their best with that regards, and they're trying to see that how much they can support, because they want people to get back to their feet and make sure that businesses get running again, so the economy just keeps running as well. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully they can come away, and Boris Johnson will definitely declare all of this after a review on the 12th of July. So he'll officially announce all of these restrictions being lifted. I mean, he did announce it right now in a press conference meeting, and he did say that all this will be going on. So let's see how it goes. The 19th of July looks like it's a hopeful day. Let's see how it goes. Freedom Day is just around the corner. And with that being said, it is about that time, that I wrap things up. It is my freedom time right now. But don't worry, I'll be leaving you guys in the safe hands of my girl Jamie, who'll be keeping you company on the chat trap. So make sure you guys keep it locked right here on Relaks Radio all the way. And you can catch me again tomorrow, same time, same place, same frequency. And with that, my name is Nick, and I'm out of here. Peace and